All right. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Football Sunday. This is Big Facts. I'm your host, Aaron Barrison, along with your host, Justin Everett. Justin, good and bad last week. I want to go over a couple games. We're going to talk about the Eagles games today. There's some tough matchups this week. How are you feeling about your 13-team parlay this week, bud?
Less confident than ever. How about you?
Yeah, not great, but hoping for a good follow-up week. I need a couple weeks in a row here for how bad I did the previous couple weeks. So
that's fair.
We got Eagles Browns today. We're gonna go over our picks for you guys first. We're gonna get into the Eagles Browns matchup. Do you want to do the matchup first, Justin, or do you want to go right into the picks?
I mean, we can just jump into the picks if you want and talk about the matchup. I don't have much to say. This Eagles game to me is literally 2 + 2 = 4, and it's that simple. If it's not and it's more complicated, you lost the game. There's not a lot to talk about.
Yeah, so there's a couple things going on with this Eagles game we'll get into, but we'll get into the picks first. So we'll start off and we'll end with the Eagles game. We'll give you our picks for today and just kind of run through these real quick, and then we'll discuss some NBA free agency later.
Okay, so you guys are starting off with you're ending with the Eagles.
Ending with the Eagles, yep.
Aaron B likes to make decisions on the fly, so that's I guess.
I thought that's what you just said. Did you just say that?
All right. First up, we have the Falcons Saints.
This one's an easy one to me, bro. This is Taysom Hill, Aaron. I mean, how does Jameis Winston wake up in the morning and not just want to jump off his balcony? You lost a backup job to Taysom Hill. I think Atlanta's a team that has shown they win games they shouldn't. This is a game that they shouldn't win. Drew Brees is out. Taysom Hill's in. The defense in New Orleans is great. There's no taking away from it. I just think that this is Matt Ryan, his whole career has shown that he takes advantage when there's advantage to be taken. And Drew Brees falling out for a couple of weeks. Take 3.5 points. Atlanta should be able to win this game outright against this team with no Drew Brees. Atlanta's 3.5, and I'm going to go over.
Yeah, if Drew Brees was playing today, I would take the Saints. The Falcons aren't as bad as their record indicates. They just, for whatever reason, get leads and blow it for the last 3 or 4 years. There's been reports that a lot of the players and a lot of the people in the Saints front office were actually surprised and a little bit upset that Jameis Winston was basically benched as the backup in place of Taysom Hill. I haven't seen anything over the last couple years that makes me believe that Taysom Hill is a good thrower of the football. So if you want to stop the Saints, it seems like it should be pretty easy today. You focus on the run. You make him beat you with his arm. It should be at least a field goal game. I like the Falcons. I'll take the 3.5 points with Matt Ryan.
What are the odds that Winston's in by halftime?
Bonus bet. Better than a coin flip.
No, I think it's slim to none. They play out the game with Taysom. They just paid him a lot of money. They want to give him a couple quarters at least to figure it out.
Aaron. It's 21-6 at halftime, and Taysom Hill hasn't been able to get more than 1 first down. You're not putting
the Saints aren't desperate, first of all, and secondly, you just pay Taysom Hill a ton of money, way overpaid him. You have to give him 4 quarters to see if he can actually play football at quarterback.
I think if you're getting crushed at halftime, he falls out. That's just Justin's opinion.
All right.
Next up, Lions Panthers.
I think I'm
getting up poorly.
Yeah, I think I'm getting the better team with points. The Lions' almost entire skill position is out of the game. Matt Stafford's got a hurt thumb. I don't know why anyone would take the Lions unless they were trying to include them in some favorable parlay. But since Carolina's the underdog and I think they're going to win this game outright, I got to take Carolina.
Yeah, I say same, dude. We talk about this week in and week out. We have 2 closely matched teams. Who's getting the points? That's what this comes down to me. If Detroit had their skill position players, it's a different conversation. But Carolina plus 2.5. I'm going to go under 47 because I don't think either team's going to light it up. Carolina's just a better team. It's just a safe pick.
Agreed.
Next up, we got the Patriots, Texans, Cam Newton versus the future Cam Newton.
I hate that we're 3 for 3 agreeing. This is making me so fucking nervous. Oh, my God. I've been telling you all year, I don't believe in Cam Newton. I think he's a garbage quarterback. This is a game for Deshaun Watson to be able to put a little bit of, I guess, a feather in his cap that he took out the Patriots. I think these, again, they're two pretty evenly matched teams. I know coaching isn't even close, but you have two evenly matched teams when it comes to talent on both sides of the football. Give me the 2 points in Houston. Again, another one. I think this goes under. I think this is a 20-17, 20-19. It's going to be a squeaked out win, but I think Houston wins this game outright. Give me the 2 points, Houston in the under.
I'm fucking sick that we're 3 for 3 agreeing. It makes me sick. just so people know, Justin and I send our picks to Jeff, and we don't know who each other are picking prior to seeing it on this screen. So this is making me want to throw up. Like Justin said, the skill positions on these teams are not far off from each other. Obviously, the Patriots are a better coach team. That being said, for as bad as the Texans have been, Deshaun Watson is actually having a pretty good year. And I just think that if any team's able to score points, it's not the Patriots, it's the Texans. I like the Texans with the better quarterback getting 2 points, and we'll see how the coaching plays out. I think the weather is going to be just fine where they're playing today. I'm gonna go with the over on this. I happen to think actually that the Texans are gonna score some points today.
For what it's worth, Cam Newton is absolutely loved in New England, and I don't know if it's just talk, just because he's the quarterback and that's the only choice that they have. But the players and the coaches absolutely love him.
Fuck Cam,
likable guy. He's a likable guy.
I guess so. Yeah, he's a good friend. All right, hold the vomit in because you guys finally disagree on the Steelers Jaguars.
Yeah. So realistically, it really just came down to the Steelers having a poor schedule and the Jacksonville Jaguars getting 10 points and playing good teams pretty well this year. I think the score is going to go under. I saw the Steelers. We were wrong. We were wrong last week just because we thought the Bengals might win that game.
And the Bengals are such a better team than Jacksonville. What are you doing?
So was Green Bay, and that was a close game too. So I'm just taking the points based on, them being able to play within 10 points. I think it's going to be a 9-10 point game. I just don't think they're going to lose by 2 touchdowns. The Steelers are going to lose a game at some point this season. They're not going undefeated. They could have a letdown against a team as bad as Jacksonville is.
Oh, boy. It almost sounded like you were going to end that point with Jacksonville could win outright, but I know that you're not that silly.
Oh, no.
You're basically making my Jets play from a couple of weeks ago against Kansas City. Too many points, and give me the points.
That is the Jets. Come on.
I watched Pittsburgh dismantle a much, much, much better team last week. Dismantled the Bengals. Owned them on both sides of the football. Won every battle in the trenches. And I don't see how they don't win by at least 14. I don't see it. So to me, this is I can't believe I'm saying this. This is fucking Freaky Friday. Aaron picked like Justin and Justin picked like Aaron. I take the safe bet here. The safe bet to me is that Pittsburgh has shown me that they win by more than 10 against much better competition. Jacksonville is a team in turmoil. They don't know who their quarterback is. They don't know what their identity is. They're not a good team. And Pittsburgh is undefeated. Will they make it to the end of the season? Probably not, but this is not the game that they're going to let us down. Pittsburgh minus 10 in the over.
Get prepared to vomit again. Now, I forgot to switch your names on this graphic. You guys are both on the Bengals, not the Washington.
Okay, all right. This one was easy to me. The Washington football team, even though our wonderful producer Jeff is wearing their logoed equipment today because he's a traitorous Philadelphian. Listen, I really love what I saw out of that defense in Washington early this season. I thought that they were very good. I really honestly believed 3, 4, 5 weeks in, come the end of this year, Washington was going to be the best team in this division. Maybe not win it, but eyeball test be the best team in this division. Listen, bro, Alex Smith didn't play football for 2 years. Dwayne Haskins is a waste of a draft pick. There's so much going wrong in that organization and in that city. And I look at Cincinnati as a team that was similar. 2 years ago, we're looking at a shitty team and a shitty organization versus a shitty team and a shitty organization. Now, I like the skill position players out of the Bengals better. I like the quarterback significantly better. You're going to give me Joe Burrow and a better team against Washington and a 1.5. I'm going to take Joe Burrow, and I'm going to say this game goes over. Cincinnati 1.5.
Yeah, I completely agree with you. If you give me the better quarterback, the guy I know can sling the ball, I agree with the over. The better quarterback with the points, I'm going to take it almost every time. Again, if anybody's just joining us, we actually both picked the Bengals on this. I think they're going to win this game outright, so getting the points is just a good bargain for me, and there's really not much else to say about it.
Easy one.
You guys finally listen to me. Never take Washington. But for what it's worth, all the experts are saying Washington is the best bet that you can play today. I don't know why. They just are. This seems like one of those games where everything that logically makes sense you go with, and throw it in the garbage. It doesn't matter.
Look, the Bengals also the Bengals got embarrassed last week, okay, by the Steelers. They're going to come out and they are going to light this team up.
NFL experts and weathermen are wrong all the time. Just go watch the statistics. It's okay, guys.
All right. Titans, Ravens.
Fuck me. Can we not? What is going on this week?
It's too many points against a team that is having trouble on the offensive side of the football. They just got beat by the Patriots last week, and Mike Vrabel basically, if he came from a coaching tree, it would be Belichick's. He knows how to take away whatever the Ravens want to do offensively. Again, if I have a team that I think potentially has the better quarterback and could win this game outright, to not take 6.5 points, I'd be an idiot. I think it's going to be under 50. Both of these are good running football teams. If the Ravens want to win, they're going to have to throw the football, and I haven't really seen that all year. So plus 6.5 points, Tennessee. Clowney's out. I know the Titans got a couple injuries, but it doesn't really matter much to me. Tannehill's in the game. Henry's in the game. The line's decent on both sides of the ball. I got to go with Tennessee.
All right. This is my upset of the week. And it wasn't going to be my upset of the week. I had something else written down. But this is my upset of the week because they're 6.5-point dogs against a very, very, very overrated Baltimore Ravens team. I don't know. Well, listen, as Jeff said a couple of minutes ago, the people in Vegas are rich and we're not for a reason, obviously. But I don't understand how an odds maker takes a 6.5-point line against these two teams. This is a 2.5-point game to me. If you were going to give points, this could have been a pick'em. This could have been a 1.5-point game. They're very evenly matched teams. Baltimore does a couple of things really, really well and a lot of things not well at all. Tennessee does a couple of things really, really well and then nothing else good at all. This is going to be a low-scoring game and low-scoring for an over-under of 50. I think this is going to be like a 21-17 type of game. It's going to be a game one on the ground. It's can Tennessee stop the rushing attack of Lamar Jackson and J.K. Dobbins and the Ravens, or can the Ravens slow down Derrick Henry? If I'm picking a defense this season right now today, I'm picking the Titans over the Ravens, and that's just where I am on it. I'm going under the 50, 6.5 for Tennessee, and let's hope we disagree on some of these so we're not all wrong together.
My bold prediction for the week is that Jackson gets hurt first quarter. RG3 comes in, Ravens win by 2 touchdowns. Dolphins, Broncos.
All right, so this is a pride pick for Justin. That's it. Listen, I've been calling for it, and I haven't picked against it for this reason, but I am this time. Tua is due a reality check. And I look at all these teams and all these places and the rest of their schedule, right? Tua is a rookie quarterback that's about to go 15,000 feet in the air into Denver in November and have to learn what it's like to play on the road in a place where it's uncomfortable. And Tua played college in Alabama. He doesn't know what this weather's like. This is not what he does. Denver is, to me, the most ill-fated team when it comes to record versus talent. Their record's terrible. Drew Lock, and again, everybody knows this. I've said this every week when we talk about Denver. I hate Drew Lock. I don't like him. I don't like looking at him. I don't like watching him throw a football. I can't stand him. I would probably take Tua over Drew Lock. But Denver is a team to me. But as I said, listen, I got to leave myself a little bit of room. Probably. Let's see what Tua is after his first season's complete. And let's say he doesn't get hurt. I look at two teams again, which I know what Miami's done the last couple of weeks. We're a team on the rise, and everybody look out and all that horse shit that we have to hear about the Miami Dolphins. They're due a reality check, and I think in Denver is a place where it could go. Prior to that 6.5-point line to Tennessee, this was my upset of the week, Denver at home. I don't know that they win this game. I'm not that confident. But I think that this is a field goal game. I think this is a 24-21, 27-24 game. Denver's going to keep it close. I got to take Denver, man. It's, again, two closely matched teams, and I'm getting more than a field goal. I got to take the points, and I got to go Denver.
These are not two closely matched teams, okay?
Come on, man.
I don't care what Justin's talking about. Justin made a pick on Denver based off his prediction that Tua's not going to be a good quarterback, and that's the only thing he's trying to salvage right now because he's been blowing people away for the last couple weeks. Listen, Tua's going to be a good quarterback, but even if he has let's just pretend that Tua has a bad game today. Miami's defense has been a great defense all year this year. So to think that Drew Lock is going to somehow be able to scrounge up enough to even keep up with the Miami Dolphins, they would have to play a horrible game. I think this is going to be a 10-point game. I haven't seen anything from Denver at this point in the season to convince me that they're going to beat a Miami Dolphins team who has been very good all year and has beaten some really good teams, who I still think, by the way, is going to win the division. Your hate for Tua has to stop because now it's clouding your judgment to the point where I can't have a football conversation with you about the Miami Dolphins versus the Denver Broncos. So let's cut it out. Let's watch this game this week.
I just want to put this out at 17 minutes or 16 and a half. Jeff, let's mark this number down. If Denver wins this football game, I want to see that motherfucker's face telling me how wrong I am.
There is no chance that Denver wins this football game, and there is no chance that Tua doesn't ride right along to 4-0 in his starts.
All right. We'll see.
As they say, any given Sunday. Is it fair to say that you won't be watching this game, Justin? Your two least favorite human beings on the planet battling it out on national TV later today?
Unfortunately for Justin, if I could, no, I would not watch this game. I can't watch Tua and Drew Lock. What's the point? I have nothing to see. I'm actually registering the newest child on the way today. So I won't be watching much football today other than on my cellular device. And no, why would I want to watch? I have an overrated left-handed quarterback 4 games into a career. Everybody wants to tell me he's the next fucking Joe Montana. And Drew Lock. No, I don't want it.
So Tua, by the way, in his
PFF,
4 games,
everybody wait.
In his starts this year, 63% completion, 519 yards, 5 touchdowns, 104 quarterback rating, no interceptions.
As
carry on,
Justin continues his raging against left-handed people in the world.
It's my dad's fault. He's left-handed.
Jets, Chargers.
All right. So this was another game.
How did we pick this the same? How did we pick this on the same?
This is another game that was hard to pick for me because both of these teams are bad. I love Justin Herbert. I think he's going to be a great quarterback in the league, but it doesn't mean that I think he's going to beat any team in the league at this point by 10 points. I saw a little bit more from the Jets the last couple of weeks than we've been seeing. They might be even due for a win at some point. I don't think it's going to be this game, but they might be due for a win. So if you give me 10 points against a team I think is not very good, the Jets are playing for pride right now at this point. I don't think they're going to win this game, but I think it's going to come to around a 6 to 8 point range, and I think they'll cover that spread. I'm also going to go with the over. I saw them finally put up some points. I think the Chargers are going to put up some points against the bad defense. I like this to be a 28 to 21 win for the Chargers.
There's not much to say here. The Justin Herbert looks good. Aaron, would you go as far as to say that Justin Herbert is the best rookie quarterback this year?
Yes, I have to.
Okay, good. That's cool. I just wanted to make sure you didn't say Tua. That's all right. I can't agree more. I can't agree with you more on what you said, dude. The Chargers are not good enough to beat anybody by 10. The Jets are a fucking garbage team. I mean, they are literally a dumpster fire inside of a hurricane on top of a tornado. They're the worst team in football that we've seen in a long, probably worse than the last 0-16 Cleveland Browns we saw. They're bad, dude. I agree, dude. I don't think this is a 10-point game. I think it's a 6 to 8 point swing. Give me 10 points in the Jets, and I just don't give a shit about the outcome.
What are the odds? Prop bet here. What are the odds that Adam Gase gets fired in the middle of his halftime speech this week?
Not good enough to actually make him leave.
Should have happened 5 weeks ago.
Oh my
Green Bay Colts.
Oh my God. I looked at this game and said, Aaron's going to pick the fucking Colts.
Of course I
okay. All right. Listen. I'm high on Indianapolis. We both shared this together. Aaron Rodgers is at a point right now where this is my fucking team. I'm going to go out and show you this is my team, and I'm going to get it done. Now, I know that it looks like I haven't checked this morning. I heard the other day Devontae Adams might not play. I don't care if he does or he doesn't. It's Aaron Rodgers. This is so simple. This is Aaron Rodgers +2 versus Phillip Rivers -2. And what can I like better? If this is a game I'm happy to lose on, because if I do, it spells the end of the Aaron Rodgers era of being a top 5 quarterback in this league. If Aaron Rodgers cannot find a way to win this game outright, fuck the 2 points, to not win this game outright against the Indianapolis Colts with a terrible Phillip Rivers, if you can't find a way to do that, it's time to start talking about how they need to surround you with something else to win games. This is a game that is on Aaron Rodgers' shoulders. Green Bay +2 in the over.
Yeah, so this has nothing to do with Rodgers for me. I'm going to break my own rule here because, again, usually when I get the better quarterback with the points, that's who I take. The problem is that when I've watched Green Bay over the last couple years, for whatever reason, they're a finesse team. And when they meet the smash mouth teams that have guys on the offensive line and the defensive line that play smash mouth football, they get beat up front all game and they end up losing. So Rodgers is obviously the better quarterback here. I just question whether they can protect him enough to allow him to go off in the way he needs to beat a good Colts team. I like the Colts on the offensive side of the football. I like the Colts on the defensive side of the football. And over the past couple years, whenever Green Bay has ran into a team like this, they've gotten their ass beat. So that's really all it comes down for me. I'm taking the Colts. This is actually kind of an upset for me. I actually think the line should be reversed here, but I'll give the 2 points. I think they win by at least a field goal.
I was rushing this morning. You guys are both on the Vikings, not the Cowboys.
Okay. I was like, I know that's wrong for me, but there's no way you picked the Cowboys.
No.
Although I will say that young quarterback that they had that they found pulled off the street looked pretty good.
If you say so. Okay, so the Cowboys have been a wreck all year. I think Andy Dalton's playing after a couple weeks off from injury. Minnesota's actually played very well the last couple weeks. I think they're a much better football team than what their record indicates. They're actually in the playoff hunt now, so they have something extra to play for. The Cowboys have just gotten beaten badly by almost every team. They're injured. Andy Dalton's coming back after a couple of weeks. It's apparent at this point that Dak Prescott was holding that team together by glue. They haven't been able to get the running game going. Kirk Cousins is playing well. The defense of Minnesota is playing a lot better. Justin Jefferson's lighting everybody up. And I just think there's no way that I could pick the Cowboys against anybody. I think if this was 10 points, I might start to lean, but I'd probably still pick Minnesota. So I'm going Minnesota. I think they're going to light up that defense. The Cowboys, for whatever reason, seem to think they still have a shot to get into the playoffs. They might be the worst team in the division, and that's saying a lot, seeing as how bad my home team is right now. Minnesota -7. In the under, because I just don't think the Cowboys are going to be able to score today.
I agree with everything you just said, except for not the under, because I think Minnesota could score 49 themselves. That's how bad that fucking Dallas team is. Everything you just said. Minnesota is on the entire rise. Minnesota is on an incline. It has not stopped or slowed down. And Dallas, I think, is still on the decline and has not hit the bottom yet. If Andy Dalton comes back and plays today, there's no continuity with him in that offense. There's no comfortability for him in what he needs from the line, from the running backs, the receivers. That team is just a terrible, terrible trash of a team right now. I think this is at least a 14-point game. I'm surprised this line's not at least 10. Minnesota's just been playing too well. It's easy for me. Minnesota -7 over. I think that they just destroyed them this week.
Yeah.
I'm going against both of you. I'm taking the Cowboys because I hate Kirk Cousins' face. He's a jerk off. I hate him more than the Cowboys, and I'm looking for a soundbite. Cowboys win outright.
You like that?
You can't include the soundbite in the soundbite. You can't say soundbite in the soundbite.
All right, Aaron.
KC Raiders.
This is the hardest game of the week for me to pick. Hands down, by far, nothing took this much thought. Here's what I saw. I went back and watched the 25-minute condensed highlights of the game last time when Oakland won 40-32. Las Vegas, I'm sorry. I'm going to call them Oakland for the rest of my fucking life probably. The Raiders. Listen, Pat Mahomes is the best quarterback in the league. Andy Reid is one of the top 3 coaches coaching right now and maybe all time. Their offense is unbelievable. Their defense is strong. They are, without question, the better team in this matchup. I don't believe that Andy Reid is going to lose twice to a division rival, so I don't see Kansas City losing this game. But I can very much see this game being a 40-37, 35-31. I think both teams are going to score. I think John Gruden's got Derek Carr in a groove that he's never seen before in his life. They're playing well. Nelson Aguilar, fuck that guy, is playing well for another team. The Raiders are too good to me to, in a divisional game at home in their stadium, lose by more than 7. So the line was 7, I would lean, but 8 points is too much. I think the Raiders cover this line. They lose the game, they cover the line, and 56.5 has the last game. You got to go over. I mean, both teams are going to score.
I don't disagree with anything you just said. The problem is that I have to go with my gut on this. Like you said, the game is in Las Vegas. They just beat them. The problem is I know KC is going to win this game because if they already lost the first game, they're going to split the season series. The reason that I am picking KC is because just that little victory lap that the Raiders took around the stadium last time they played, if KC has a 7-point lead and it's the fourth quarter and they're about to run out the clock, I can guarantee you just because of that, they're not going to run out of the clock. So I can actually see this being a 10 to 14 point game just because if KC does take the lead at some point late, they're going to attempt to run up the score. They're going to take that personally. And that's really the only reason. I think this is actually factually going to be around the 7-point game, but I can see KC at the end trying to rub it in Oakland's face the same way they got rubbed in their face. So I'm taking KC based on feeling alone. Oakland's a really well-coached team, and they're playing at home. So usually when you're pretty evenly matched and well-coached, if you lose, you don't lose by that much. But KC's got to be a little pissed off about that. It's their only loss of the season so far, and it just gave them that motivation.
Finally, we got the Rams-Buccaneers.
Yeah, this is actually my upset of the week. I think the Rams are actually going to win this game outright. The thing that Tom Brady has the most issues with is not when guys are coming from, the outside on the defensive end position. It's when someone's pushing his centers and guards into him. I think Aaron Donald's going to completely wreck this game. Tom Brady's not going to have much time to throw the football. I think he's going to get picked off a couple times. You got Ramsey on the outside. I think this is just a bad matchup for a guy who hasn't shown you that he can throw a good deep ball this year. If you're going to open up the field and beat a defense like the Rams, you got to be able to make those deep throws and stretch the field. I think this is a really bad matchup for their offense. I think it's a bad matchup for their offensive line, and I can see the Rams winning this game outright.
I don't disagree. I think they could. You know that I'm not a gigantic Tampa Bay fan. I don't see Tom Brady letting Jared Goff and that team beat him, especially when
revenge game, Super Bowl.
Yeah, no. Listen, bro. Again, everything you said makes sense, but just like you said, KC was a gut game. This is a gut game for me. The only reason I'm taking the Rams is to cover. I don't think they're going to win this game. I think that this is going to be a last-minute Tom Brady runs them down the field and either scores a touchdown to go ahead by 2, or we've got a tie game with 90 seconds on the clock. They kick a field goal, they win the game. The Rams are good. There's no doubt about it. I agree with everything you said. Defensively, what the matchups are, I believe all that shit the same. I just don't see Tom Brady losing this game. But yeah, no, I mean, where the hell did he go?
Bad internet connection.
Oh, fucking Aaron.
There he is.
He's back. There he is.
Sorry about that.
I agree with everything you said. Sans the upset of the week and then winning the game. And they could. Just understand they could. I picked them with 4.5 because I think it's going to be close. I do believe it's going to go over. I think the Rams are going to try to put 35 on Tom Brady's neck. And I think Tom Brady's going to do his best to try to keep it close and maybe win a 38-35 game. But yeah, I take the 4.5 points. Again, closely matched up teams, well coached. And I mean, even coaching, I kind of give the edge to LA, dude. I think the Rams have a better continuity in coaching to their players than what they've got down in Tampa Bay right now. I take the 4.5 points, and I think this is a safe bet. Let's get on to the worst game of the week.
I was going to say, saving the worst for the last. Nobody wants to talk about him. Nobody wants to hear about him.
All right, Aaron, I'm glad that I get to start because I knew you weren't going to pick him. All right, listen. This is very easy. This is so simple. This is my 4-year-old could come down here and lay out a game plan for you. That's how easy this is this week. You have bad weather. You have a bad quarterback against you. Not saying Carson Wentz is good. Everybody knows that I have said I'm out on Carson Wentz. But Baker Mayfield's worse than Carson Wentz. I don't give a shit what you say. Period. He's just worse quarterback. You've got a really potent running game with Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt. That is what is going to be leaned on by the Cleveland Browns today. They're going to lean on run heavy and try to just control the clock and keep the ball away from the Eagles. The two things that are necessary in this game for the Eagles to win it, and in my opinion, this game is the season. I don't see a win for the Eagles until they play Dallas again next. After this game, I just don't see it. This is the game that's going to make or break this divisional win for you, period. So if they want to win, we need a 60-40, 55-45 run to pass ratio, which I know Doug's not going to do. It's necessary. He won't do it, but it's necessary. But the most important part is you need to score points early. You have to put Cleveland behind early and make Baker Mayfield become a playmaker. There's one thing that Baker isn't, and it's a playmaker. He gives the ball away. He throws interceptions. He fumbles. He's just not a good clutch moment playmaker. You have to go up early, and you have to stay up, which means running the ball. One of those two things could happen. They could go up early. Cleveland, Myles Garrett is out, which is gigantic. In my opinion, if the season ended today, the defensive player of the year, and Myles Garrett is not playing because he got COVID. I don't know how confident I am in this. And the only reason it's not the upset of the week is because it would be homerism if it were. I think the Eagles have a very good chance at squeaking a win out against this team when I look at what's coming. And I know that they say they don't project forward future weeks. There's no way you're telling me that Carson Wentz and Jason Kelsey and Doug Peterson aren't looking at the next 3 games as losses because they have to, because they're playing much better competition. So they're going to put more onus on this week. The reason why I'm taking the Eagles is because I think they can win this game outright, and giving me 2.5, I have to take the shot. This is the entire season for the Philadelphia Eagles right here. This is the whole thing. This is the entire season in this game. So I'm going to take the 2.5. Terrible weather. I'm going to go under. Let's hope that our Eagles can pull out a victory.
You were wrong last week about the Giants, and you are going to be wrong this week about the Browns, and here's why. I know Myles Garrett's out. It's actually the matchup I was most worried about was Myles Garrett going against Jason Peters. I was like, holy shit. This is going to be a game-wrecking matchup, and there's no chance in hell that Jason Peters can contain Myles Garrett. Garrett gets put on the COVID list. He's obviously not playing this week. The issue is last week, and it really just comes down to a lot of it coaching at this point. Miles Sanders got 15 carries for 85 yards, averaged almost 6 yards a carry. The problem, you only gave him the ball 15 times. Boston Scott had a breakaway run, averaged 21 yards a carry. You gave him the football 3 times. You were gashing the Giants' defense with the run all game, and your backs carried the ball a total of 19 times. I'm tired of the coaching. I am tired of the Jalen Hurts packages. I think that there's no chance that the Eagles can stop Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt. Darius Slay is going to shut down Jarvis Landry, but that doesn't say anything for the rest of the offense. The only saving grace of this entire game is that both of these teams and quarterbacks at this point are actually somewhat evenly matched. Now, obviously, I would take Carson Wentz over Baker Mayfield because given what Baker has dealt with the last 2 years, I think Carson Wentz would be putting up much better numbers. Baker has done almost nothing with a lot of skill on his football team. But the Browns overall have the better rushing attack. They have the better defense at this point. I know Isaac Seumalo is back in the game, so they have somewhat of a congruent line together, but he hasn't played in a couple weeks. I just haven't seen anything from the Eagles that makes me think that they can beat any 6-3 football team in this league. It just doesn't make any sense to me. I don't think it's going to be a blowout. But based on what I saw with the Giants, who are a well-coached football team last week, losing by 10, to think that the Browns can't win by a field goal to me is just it would be homerism in my head. So I had to go with the Browns, and I think they're going to win this football game. Unfortunately, I hope I'm wrong.
It's a fair point, everything that you made, bro. Like, I get it. But this is the season, dude. Like, this is the season, this game.
By the way, to show you just how this kind of works in the NFL, the Cleveland Browns right now are 6-3, and the Eagles are 3-5-1. Both of them have a point differential on the season of -27 and -28. So against their opponents, they've scored about the same and let up about the same. But one of these teams is 6-3, and one of these teams is 3-5-1. Coaching, in my opinion.
Fair.
So we'll take a quick break and be back in a couple minutes. We'll talk about the Eagles game, and then we'll move into the NBA.
Yep.
All right. All right, so we are back. We want to discuss real quick this Eagles-Browns matchup. And Justin, I have a couple questions for you about that based on some of the reports that have come out just in general about the Eagles this week, some of the coaches catching COVID and overall some of the things with Carson Wentz. And then we'll go ahead and we'll cover a couple of phenomenal, in my opinion, and I know probably your opinion, moves that Daryl Morey has made over the last couple days to completely turn this 76ers team upside down in maybe the best way possible. But let's start with the Eagles. So 2 coaches are going to be out this week for COVID precautions. One of them is the QB coach, and another is one of the coaches that works with Carson as well. He kind of helps coordinate the offense. So Doug is pretty much going to be in control of the entire offense this week. There's not going to be much input from anybody that works on that side of the ball. There's going to be no one to sit with Carson in between series, after series, things of that nature. I like to think that that's, in most cases going to hurt the quarterback, but I feel like Carson's in his head so much at this point that maybe he just needs to go out there and play football and run the plays that Doug is telling him to run. What do you think about his specific QB coaches kind of being out of this game and what that means for him on the sideline and in between series against this Browns team?
So, first of all, I mean, if you watch these games, nobody sits with Carson during or in between series anyway. Carson sits down on a bench alone with an iPad and does his shit by himself. I don't know if that's Carson. I don't know if it's the coaches. Quite frankly, I don't give a shit. It's a problem is all I know. I don't think it affects anything different. I think here's something that I love about it. I love that there's no excuses for Doug Peterson in this offense now. I disagree with you principally to the core. I think Carson's problem is that he does go out and run the plays Doug wants him to run. If you watch this team in an up-tempo offense where Carson Wentz is coming up with shit on the spot, he's doing it himself. He's trying to figure it out play by play and what reads he sees and what personnel are on the field. When he's improvising, he's better than the first 15 play script or the bullshit that he goes through with Doug Peterson on a week-to-week basis. So I disagree with that to the core. Carson's problem is not doing what Doug tells him. Carson's problem is that he doesn't not do what Doug tells him. He needs to trust his own instincts a little bit more often. And this is why I say, is Carson Wentz broken? Obviously. We know he's broken. Is he repairable? I don't know the answer to that question. I mean, Andrew Bynum, was he repairable? No, he was fucking broken. That happens to players where you are on such a terrible team or with a terrible coach where you just get shit take after shit take after shit take, and you just can't recover from it.
Yeah,
that could be where we are.
Now, the franchise, obviously, and we've talked about this over the past couple of years, hasn't really done Carson any favors. But we've seen over years and years, these guys, these superstars come in, guys that we think are going to be superstars. And because of the pressure of Philadelphia, because of the fans, because of how nasty sports radio can be, and the media asking the same questions every week, trying to get a rise out of the athletes and the players, what do you think the chances are that Carson Wentz has the personality that he can? I mean, we've seen Carson Wentz have bad games. This is a really long stretch of bad football with a couple highlights in between. What are the chances that, like almost every year, they turn this team around at the end of the year and actually win this division over a team that I think is really well coached and is actually playing better than them, like the Giants are?
So I have two problems with that bother me. First of all, the first problem is I think the chances are likely. They've shown us this in the last couple of years. They shit the bed for half or two-thirds of the season and find a way to squeak in at the end and make some noise. Problem A I have is that that's probably going to happen. It's likely. The second and more important problem I have with that is that because it keeps happening, I see Brett Brown for the 76ers. The only difference is Doug Peterson won a Super Bowl. The only difference is Doug Peterson made the top, and now we're loyalists because that's what Philadelphia sports is, right? This is why we have guys that play for the Flyers 6 years too long. This is why we have Jason Peters still in an Eagles uniform, because they're loyalists. And this is a problem for me. The world of sports when I grew up was, what have you done for me lately? Like, it wasn't so much coaching, because when I was a kid, I had Andy Reid for most of my childhood. Andy Reid was a guy that was here for a while and got real results out of different players. They replace players all the time. And we're moving into a world now where it's, well, just give him another chance and just give him another chance. If Doug Peterson continues to sneak into the playoffs, whether it's with a losing or a winning record, Jeff Lurie's never going to get rid of him. And how long are we going to be mired in this fucking swamp of the same bullshit? It's a circle. It's Doug Peterson's play calling is weak. The league's figured it out. Let's bring in some new offensive coaches. They're going to help him update that playbook. Doug won't give up the playmaking, and now here we are again, back to Doug's plays. They're stale and old. And this is just the circle that we spin in every 12 months with this football team. And my fear is that they are going to rebound. They're going to find a way to win today against Cleveland and one of these next 3 that they shouldn't and sweep the last 2 and win the division. And Doug's going to be heralded as the hero. And Carson's going to be looked at like he's great. And at what point do we start to say there's 16 fucking games? Why are we okay with 5 well-played games and 11 that are garbage? Help me understand why we're not holding them more accountable. And I think it's likely, dude. This is what this team has showed. They give minimal effort until they've got to give it all. They give you everything they've got. They sneak in because they're in a bad division, and we just rinse and repeat next season.
Yeah, it's a weird fear to have that your team is going to have a good end of the year and end up sneaking into the playoffs. If the season ended right now, I believe they would play the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and good luck with that. So, again, we have a full offensive line today. Pretty much all our receivers are back. All of our running backs are there except for Corey Clement, who really hasn't played much this year anyway. The defensive line is intact. The linebackers that you brought into the season at least are there. Back. Yeah, it's all in place, and still yet you got beat by 10 points last year when really you were only missing Samalu. I'm not confident. I look at the Browns and I look at the coaching, which has been good. That's why they're 6-3 and not 3-6. I mean, the point differential, like we said, is the same. And then I see the skill position. So it's Nick Chubb, it's Kareem Hunt, it's Jarvis Landry, it's some guys they have on the defensive side of the football that are good football players. So I'm waiting for these guys on the Eagles offense and on the defense to win their matchups consistently for the entire football game. And I just haven't seen it. And especially the wide receivers, there was so much hype going into last week that we had a full lineup of healthy wide receivers. Fulgham was playing really well every week. Ward was giving you a lot. Jalen Reagor was back. Alshon Jeffrey played 15 snaps. Miles Sanders was in the backfield. Boston Scott broke a 50-yard touchdown run, and you scored 17 points. And one of the things is we talked about, well, if Carson Wentz would just not turn the football over, we'd be winning these football games. Carson Wentz didn't turn the football over. He also didn't get outside the pocket. He didn't do anything, just off the top and freestyle it a little bit. And they scored 17 points. So it's frustrating to watch when you're saying, oh, if we can fix the turnovers, we'll win the football game, and you get beat by a team like the Giants. So going into that and coming off of that, we didn't discuss these press conferences at all where Peterson has just been pissed off all week and responding in a dick way to all the questions. But are these not fair questions that they're asking Doug Peterson?
Of course they are, dude. They're absolutely fair. I mean, again, when you want to be the head coach, the play caller, the offensive coordinator, when you want to put that level of stress on your own shoulders, shut the fuck up and deal with the questions you're going to get asked. You're going to get asked why your offense is stale. You're going to get asked why your quarterback looks like shit. When you put all that pressure on yourself, fucking own it. You don't go apply for a job with all the responsibility in the fucking place that you're working and then get mad when people ask you why things go wrong. No, bro, that's not how it works. We gave Andy no accountability. He doesn't want to take it. He doesn't want to feel like it's on him. He believes, I came to this team, I won you a Super Bowl. Why are you asking me questions? And it's just ridiculous, bro. It's stupid.
We harped on the way Andy Reid answered questions for the better part of a decade. And we didn't like the way he answered questions, but he never went off and got in his feelings about being asked these questions. So it can show you a little bit of a difference in personality and coaching. I wonder if Doug is the same guy every week going into that locker room, or if he's a little different with how he acts on a week-to-week basis. Moving on to another Philadelphia team, which I know everybody is pumped about at this point, even though I'm not pumped about their jerseys.
Doggy. Yeah.
So we've been dealing with out-of-position players and bad offenses and bad contracts for the better part of the last couple years. The last time I felt the Sixers really had a shot to get to an NBA championship, Embiid was running around the floor holding his stomach for whatever reason, and they just couldn't get over the hump when they had shooters, and Kawhi won a title in Toronto. But guys like Bellinelli and Ersan Ilyasova and JJ Redick were all on the floor. There was a lot of space. We're moving around. Last year, we had trouble on the offensive side of the ball. It was worsened by the fact and heightened by the fact that Ben Simmons couldn't shoot. you were not as high as I was, Justin, if I remember one of our conversations with the fact that they brought Daryl Morey in. What did he do in Houston? He made moves, and the issues with this team were only going to get fixed by taking chances and making moves. How impressed are you, and how excited are you for a Sixers season with Al Horford leaving, Tyrese Maxey falling to us at pick number 21, signing a veteran like Dwight Howard, and then being able to bring in Danny Green and Seth Curry?
So my outness on Daryl Morey wasn't a good pickup. It was, everybody was telling me instantaneously the Sixers are championship contenders, and I still saw Al Horford on the cap. I still saw Tobias Harris playing out of position. I still saw Ben Simmons needing to be able to develop a part of his game that it seems like he doesn't want to. Daryl Morey's signing wasn't the savior to me, but I will tell you this. Impressed entirely. There's nothing that has been done that I haven't felt entirely impressed by. Excited? Absolutely. I mean, listen, this is paint this picture for yourself for a second. 3 months before Wednesday night, we had 2 players playing out of position. We had a $25 million backup that had no game left in him, and we saw that hated being here. We had a point guard that wouldn't learn how to score. We had a coach that couldn't fucking spell basketball. We had a lot of terrible things. And you fast forward 3 months to Wednesday night. On Wednesday night, Daryl Morey fleeced the Oklahoma City Thunder. Fleeced. Got one really great shooter and a good 3-and-D wing in Danny Green. Got another good defender and a decent shooter in Terrence Ferguson. Mm-hmm. Fleeced out of that contract. Just a Danny Ainge-like move, which to Philadelphia fans, we know we're on the wrong end of those deals. Never the right end.
Yeah.
You then get Josh Richardson's bad contract and inability to find a way to score short of pretending he's Allen Iverson in 2004. Traded away to Dallas, and you bring in Seth Curry, who statistically, by statistical margin, my boy Nick Wright, who I love, and you know I think we're both big fans of, Seth Curry is technically the greatest shooter in the history of the NBA. Yeah. We know that's not real. We know that that's just a number. But you brought in a real shooter, a real catch and shoot, hit the open shot no matter where he is shooter. You brought in J.J. Redick, 6 years younger than when you had J.J. Redick, which is huge, gigantic. You got better on the bench. And again, the big thing I think a lot of people are leaving out, and I know it's because the Rona fucked us all up. We had no tournament. We didn't have anything to watch and see these kids play. Tyrese Maxey is going to be a very good player. Whether Tyrese Maxey finds a way to convince Doc Rivers that he belongs at the starting 2 rather than Matisse or Danny Green or Seth Curry, or he is your first off the bench, Tyrese Maxey is going to give you a lot of things that you've been missing. Now, you and I talked about this the other day. I've really been talking to a couple of basketball people and trying to round out my projection on what Tyrese Maxey is. I think Tyrese Maxey at his very, very best. So for those that don't know, he's a great defender. He has an NBA body. He has a good wingspan. He's a guy that can defend Matisse Thybulle like right now. And I mean, I know half the season last year, Matisse Thybulle was getting talked about as being an all-NBA defender in his rookie season. He's an NBA defender today. He's a better shooter than Matisse. He's a better scorer than Matisse. He takes smarter shots than Matisse. He's Matisse's defense with better offense. He is a rookie Jimmy Butler right now. If all he does is continue straight, he's going to end up like Jimmy Butler. You'll have nights where he gives you 30, but he's a 15 to 17-point scorer. He's going to be good defensively. He's a guy you can count on all the time. You mentioned a name to me the other day that I really dug into that I love. If Tyrese Maxey gets the most out of himself and Doc Rivers and Daryl Morey build this kid the right way, I think we're looking at Dwayne Wade. And that's so fucking exciting to get at number 21. That's unbelievable. If we get half of Dwayne Wade, that is such a huge win. So yeah. I am beyond impressed. The moves these made are huge. And Dwight Howard, gee, bro, Kyle O'Quinn, Amir Johnson, Mike Muscala, we got Dwight Howard coming off this bench now, bro. What on a vet minimum? Well, I mean, dude, blown away. I'm blown away.
So Dwight Howard, for those who missed it, tweeted he was coming back to LA, and then all of a sudden the Lakers ended up signing Montrezl Harrell. And so the Lakers now, in filling the void of Rondo and Dwight Howard, have replaced them with the sixth man of the year and the runner-up for sixth man of the year. That team is absolutely stacked. I don't see anybody in the West being able to compete with them. But bringing it back to the Sixers, Justin, we talked, and I said to you, does he look like a B level? He's never going to be Dwayne Wade, right? He's the Hall of Famer, top 3 shooting guard ever. He's probably not going to be that. I was watching his shot. I was like, his shot reminds me of someone, and I kept digging, and I'm like, who is it? So I'm thinking like Kyle Lowry, and I'm like, he played defense like Kyle Lowry. He's a little more athletic, and can get a little bit hotter, but Kyle Lowry gets hot. There's this piece missing in between Kyle Lowry and someone his shot looks like, and someone that also played at Kentucky, Jamal Murray. Now, Jamal Murray is one of the best offensive players in the NBA, and I'm not comparing Tyrese Maxey with Jamal Murray, but the frame, the defense that kind of Kyle Lowry gives you, the size and the shot selection, and the ability to be a spark plug for your offense at any given time. We talked about this in the playoffs last year. There was 5 or 6 teams remaining at that point, and they all had something in common. They had a very good stretch big, but they also had a guard/forward that can get you a bucket at any time you needed a one-on-one ISO, I got to go get you a bucket. And the Sixers just did not have that last year. So whether Tyrese gives you that in the starting lineup, or whether you want to bring them off the bench because you want to give that role to Toby, since Doc there is coaching them now the same way he did on the Clippers, or you still want Embiid to have his post-up, face-up one-on-ones, Tyrese Maxey is going to give you something. And if anything, it's going to be good defense and an offensive spark. To be able to get a guy like Dwight Howard as a backup when you've been just playing guys that knows his role, just helped the Lakers and was a huge part in them winning a championship last year with his defense and him disturbing Jokic, being able to come in the game and throw his weight and throw his body around and pick up good fouls and just rebound the basketball. You're not missing. When Embiid went off the floor last year, you're like, where is my offense coming from and who am I playing through? Dwight gives you a guy that can run up and down the floor, and he's not going to give you anything on the offensive side of the ball, but he's going to set hard screens. He's going to pull down offensive rebounds, and he's not going to be a minus guy like Horford was basically every time he stepped onto the floor. And he's definitely not going to step back behind the three-point line and start shooting the basketball and piss the fans off either. That's a huge pickup.
But what he showed us in L.A. is when he is left balls wide open, he can hit that open three.
He'll shoot it, yeah. He'll be like one of 2 for the season.
He's worked on that part of his game. I give him credit for it. Again, dude, I can say this without a doubt. In my lifetime, I'm 30, in my lifetime, this team has not been as complete as it is right now, and they're still not done. You have 3 shooters to surround your distribution point guard with. You have the 5 that dominates the whole, and now you've got the spark off the bench, the defense off the bench, and the big man that protects you from your big man getting hurt and your big man when he needs rest. This is a complete 180-degree turn from where we were 5 months ago. Complete turnaround.
And let's not gloss over Danny Green. Lakers fans and NBA Twitter was giving him shit the whole playoff run because he wasn't hitting the open shots. He shot something around 30% for the entire playoffs. He was left wide open several times with one time, I believe, with the game on the line and got death threats for it. Look, Danny Green has been in the NBA at this point for over a decade. Danny Green has been one of the best 3-and-D guys in the NBA, and Danny Green has also won a championship at this point on 3 different teams. One with the Spurs, did he win one? He won one with the Spurs, I believe. He won one with the Raptors,
and Lakers,
and now the Lakers. So you're getting a vet that's going to be able to coach up guys like Matisse Thybulle and coach up guys like Maxey, whatever he ends up becoming, and then regardless of whether he's 10 for 10 from the three-point line or he's 0 for 20 from the three-point line, somebody's going to be flying out to try to block his shot because he can't leave him open from 3, regardless of how bad of a shooting night that he's having. And he gives you more than enough on the defensive end to be a starter if they want him to be a starter. So we can't just gloss over the fact that we got a Danny Green in exchange for getting rid of Horford's contract and act like because Danny Green had one bad playoff run that he's now a bad basketball player. There's a lot of pressure in LA and there's going to be a lot of pressure in Philly, but Danny Green has been doing it for a decade, and that was a great pickup for the Sixers. Him, Seth Curry spreading the floor, and Ben Simmons running the point.
On the Danny Green note, Danny Green was arguably the third or fourth most recognizable name on that team. LeBron, Anthony Davis, Rondo or Howard, and then Danny Green. I mean, Danny
Ronda,
Green
Howard,
did have,
all in there, yeah.
Right. Danny Green did have a ton of pressure on him there, and what's great about the situation here is that everybody's going to have their eyes on Tyrese Maxey. Let's see what he becomes. Isaiah Joe that they drafted in the 40s. Another catch-and-shoot wing that can play. Dwight Howard's minutes is a big signing. There's going to be a lot of focus, Ben and Joe. There's going to be a lot of focus over Danny Green. Danny Green is not going to be the fourth or fifth most recognizable name or looked at name on this team. I mean, Danny Green, again, may not be in the starting lineup, and he may be your sixth or seventh man. And that takes a shitload of mental pressure off of a guy, for sure. And again, you're talking about a dude that won 3 chips in 3 different cities. That's impressive. It's just impressive. I mean, he's a guy that gives you a lot. He gives you a lot of veteran leadership. He's a guy that can be a coach on the floor in certain moments. Take them the big moments and make them look smaller and help your young team, because Ben is 22 and Joe is 25. This is a young team. I mean, Toby is 28. This is a young team. And having that veteran leadership around now, I mean, Steph Curry's brother, who's related to a guy that goes there. I don't know many know this. Married to Doc Rivers' daughter, Steph Curry is.
Yeah, and don't forget, you still got, for your second unit, whoever you decide to start, you still got Matisse. You still got Shake Milton. Mike Scott's still on this team. Furkan Korkmaz is still on this team. I mean, there's a lot of directions that you can go with this starting lineup, and you can actually start to fill out a second unit and see a team that's going to compete when their second unit is playing a good second unit and not just get completely torched. I mean, we had to look at the second unit for a spark last year because we couldn't score. Raul Nato was coming in running floaters from the free throw line trying to spark the offense because we just didn't have that guy, and it's frustrating to even say that. Shake Milton coming off the bench and starting games, giving you 30 points as a guy who didn't touch the ball until 2/3 into the season. So the fact that you're able to bring those guys in, whether they start or whether they're coming off the bench, and have Doc River facilitating that and Daryl Morey not being done making moves, you got to be excited about the Sixers season. We're about an hour in, so Justin, give me any closing thoughts you have on either the Sixers or NFL games that you're interested in this week and what to watch for.
NFL real quick. Again, everybody understand this is the Philadelphia Eagles season today. This is the game. This is the season deciding game. If the Eagles come away with a loss this week, they won't win the division. They will miss the playoffs, and they will have a top 10 pick this season, period, point blank. Tennessee is the upset of the week to win outright. I know that my boy Aaron picked the LA Rams to be the upset of the week and win outright. One of us is going to be right. One of us is going to be wrong.
Or we both could be wrong.
That's so true, because that's most likely. But let's hope one of us was right. When it comes to the Sixers, man, again, dude, listen, be excited. This is a team that woke up one day and said, enough bullshit. We're not doing this the bad way anymore. Doc Rivers is 1,000 leagues better than Brett Brown. Daryl Morey is 1,000% better than Elton Brand being your only guy making basketball decisions. This is a team that's showing you they're taking it serious. Sam Cassell's a great bench coach. They're going to be really good this year no matter what that starting lineup looks like. I will say when it comes to the Sixers, I don't think that they're done. I think that there's another ace up the sleeve of Daryl Morey. I don't know if it's a Zach LaVine trade or a Bradley Beal trade, or even another Seth Curry type trade where he just gets more shooters. But I don't know that they're done yet. Keep an eye on that, man. Stay excited about the draft picks. What a whole draft, every pick we can be excited about for the first time in a very, very, very long time. It's a great time to be a Sixers fan, man. That's all I got for this week, brother.
So just closing thoughts, these NFL teams, you know who most of them are at this point. They've been playing for 10 weeks. For most of these teams, their record shows who they are. This week, you're going to find out a lot about the Rams and the Bucks because it's two good teams with middle of the pack playoff records, wild card, maybe have a chance to get in the lead in their division type records. So you're going to see when these teams match up who they are compared to the other very good teams in the league and not the best teams in the league. We know who the best teams are. The Colts and the Packers, the Rams and the Bucks, the Ravens and Tennessee. Out of those teams where you're a little bit iffy that have pretty good records, have been playing together for 10 weeks now, this is the week where you start really finding out towards the end of the season who these teams are, how good they actually are, how much hype is actually surrounding them. Again, the Browns and the Eagles game is more evenly matched in their record because realistically, both of them are not very good teams. Minus 27 and minus 28 point differential in the season. It's going to be a lot closer, I think, than people think if you were just going by the record. So I'm hoping I'm wrong about the pick. I'm hoping the Eagles can pull out a win because I agree with you, Justin. I think there's not a win to be on paper over the next couple of weeks until they get to the end of the season. And if they want to win the division and start to get some continuity and try to figure out the rest of this year, they need to start with this football game. So that's all we have for you this week. Big facts. We'll be back with you guys on Wednesday. And you guys have an awesome football Sunday, and go Birds.
I got one quick shameless plug. Everybody that listens, the Ever-Evolving Truth has an update I'm so excited about on November 27th. Anyone that has followed since Jump Street like me should be very excited. Go watch Teeth.
Thanks again to our producer, Jeff, and we will see you guys on Wednesday.
All right, brother.